Okay, we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
What a nice voice.
It's
So soothing.
my first time doing the intro. Okay, go easy on me. Welcome back to the FGC Behind the Smoke podcast. My name is Boris,
And I'm Adamo.
and today we're going to be talking about the application process for the fire service.
That's right.
Big one.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a short one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to go over what is going to be part of the application process, from submitting your application all the way to, chief's interviews and medicals,
Yeah.
right? Most departments are fairly similar, but might not necessarily be in the same order. So
Yeah.
just be aware of the department that you're applying for. They typically will post on their website, what the scheduling of the application is going to be, right?
Absolutely. So you can be ready for any step of the process. It'll all be there, and you can take it one at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
And awesome. Before we get into that, Adam, did you want to tell the audience about our fine sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just quickly thank our two sponsors, Strike Recovery and Performance, located in Burnaby, BC. Strike is physio, chiro, and RMT.
But they're great.
They're awesome. I've been going to Strike for years, and they've helped me out through some serious back injuries that I've had. I've gone to other chiros and physios before, and like nothing compares to these guys. They're unbelievable.
Nice.
They do a lot of work for like professional athletes. They've worked on NHL players, UFC fighters. The head chiropractor there was a chiropractor for the UFC. So these guys know their shit. Like they're awesome. Highly recommend them. If you want to book a spot with them, just go to strikerecovery.com and just let them know that we sent you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then also our other sponsors, CanCon Construction. Big shout out to them. It's pretty cool, actually. They started as like a pretty small company, like only a couple years ago, and they've just blown up to this big company now. And they mostly focus on like excavation work and stuff like that. So if anybody's looking to get into that or gain experience operating heavy machinery, hit them up. So yeah.
Nice. We're gonna get Adamo to pre-record these shout outs to the sponsors, because it's too much for them. They're awesome, and we want to thank them every time, but it's taking a toll on Adamo. So we're gonna
My little brain just can't keep it consistent.
so we're gonna pre-record these for the next episode. But yeah, big shout out to those guys. Check them out. All right, and we forgot your jingle in the last episode.
Oh, that's right.
We said that because we were talking about having an intro song and talking about copyright, and it just seemed like a big pain in the ass. We're just gonna have Adamo do a applicable jingle for each episode.
It'd be sweet if you could lay down a beat or something.
No one's gonna listen to this. No.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to Behind the Smoke podcast. Smoke.
I bet 99% of people tuned out.
Oh, for sure. They're like, these guys are idiots.
Yeah. Now that we got all those listeners out of the way.
Yeah. Now we got the serious listeners.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's jump into it. So today, like Adamo said, we're talking about the application process. So okay, you figured out you want to be a firefighter. You've gotten all the certifications. Now it's time to apply for the fire service.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very first step most likely will be finding out which department you want to work for, going to their website, and finding their actual online application.
Yeah. And also just double check to make sure that you have every requirement that's needed for that department, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, so you're going to go online and you're going to find their application. And most departments now, I think, are all online basically.
Yeah, it's like 99% digital.
Yeah. So, you're going to have to go through it on your computer, save it. You're not going to want to submit your application right away, because you're definitely going to want to review it a couple times.
Yeah, not just yourself, but like have your friends, family have a look at it.
Yeah.
Look at all the files that you have to upload. That's something our company does help with. We do interview, coaching. We take guys through the entire process.
Yeah.
Applications, resume, cover letter, all that good stuff. So yeah, if not us, like find somebody who you trust to
to go over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I had buddy's wife look at my resume because neither one of us could read. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
So,
double and triple check, right? And like Boris said, get somebody else to read it over too, because they might find something that you missed, right? Check your grammar, your spelling.
yeah. Most online applications these days too have like for each section, like a 4,000 character limit. So try to do as much as possible on that as well, and fill it out as much as possible, because again, it's a competitive service you're getting into.
Totally. Yeah. So once you've done that and you have your application filled out, you've double, triple checked it, and you're ready to submit it, what's going to be next?
Yeah, so what we wrote down here is your resume and cover letter, which most likely is going to be uploaded into that application.
Yeah.
But obviously it's important enough that we thought we should talk about it separately here.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Adamo said, have people check it over. It is a big part, obviously, of any job.
Yeah, and if that's something that you need help with, that's also a service that we provide, is resumes and cover letters.
Yeah, it is different for the fire service, right?
Yeah, and we make them unique to you. Like, we don't just have a generic one that we create for everyone. We actually sit down and go through your resume and work on it.
Yeah, totally. It's not a one-page thing. Firefighter resumes are at least 3 pages long, plus a cover letter. So there's a lot of room for error, a lot of room for improvement, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, like Adamo said, we can definitely help out with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you've applied, you've uploaded your resume, all that good stuff, and you'll get an invite to the written exam.
Yeah, and make sure you check your emails and your junk mail too, because most likely you're going to get that invite over email.
Yeah, and like Adamo said, you might get in a junk mail. I've had applicants in the past totally be no-shows for writtens, or for physicals or whatever else, because they didn't check their emails.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that, right? Then you miss the entire process. A lot of times when it comes to written physicals, things like that, departments can't give exceptions to applicants. If like, well, we really like you, but yeah, come in tomorrow and we'll just do one-on-one. You can do your physical. No,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So if you miss your train, that's it. You're going to have to wait for the next application process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you have that in. The written, it can be anything from NFPA questions, which we touched on last episode.
Yeah.
Fire service related stuff. It can be spatial recognition,
mechanical aptitude,
totally mathematics, any of that good stuff. Obviously, it's going to be at a lower level than what you might expect, in the university level. You should still brush up on that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And there's books that you can buy out there online that go through that, right, and help you study for these types of exams.
Yeah, lots of good stuff out there. After that, like Adamo said, again, the order of these might be different, but most departments, this is where you'll either get an interview or go to the physical portion. So we'll just talk about the interview portion first.
Yeah. So the interview is huge, right? So that's where you really get a chance to let the panel get to know you. And for those of you who don't know what a panel interview is, it's basically you're going to be sitting on one side of the table and you're going to have 3 to 5 potentially people sitting on the other side of the table asking you questions. And the people on the other side are typically going to be someone in recruiting, someone who's in the union, potentially a chief, and potentially an HR representative of that municipality.
Yeah, it can be any of those members, and it's intimidating sometimes.
It is, especially like if you haven't had much experience in interviews. Like, this is what we find people come to us the most for, is because they've had an interview and they're like, oh my God, like I totally shit the bed.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm ruined.
Yeah. Right. And it is intimidating, and they're in depth too, right? Like some interviews are like over an hour long.
Yeah. I mean, my interview when I got hired was an hour and a half.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. It's just question after question. A lot of times the interview panel has to be writing down the answer that you're giving them. So they're not going to even be looking at you. So you don't get that feedback as you do with a normal conversation. They're not even looking at you, and you just have to keep talking and keep making good points. And it's not easy.
No, it's not. But if that's something that you are struggling with, definitely reach out to us because we can help you with that for sure.
Yeah, that is our bread and butter.
Yeah.
And we do come from different backgrounds as well. Myself, military and volunteer recruitment, and Adamo here has trades and HR and police background. We'll maybe dip into that at some other point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you get different perspectives too, which is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Perspectives. After that, if you pass your interview, you go on to the physical or skills day, depending.
Yeah, depending on the department, right? But this is something that we touched on in the last episode about physical fitness. You need to be in the best shape of your life. I know I said that in the last episode, but it drives me crazy when you have guys who are qualified and gals and they go to the physical and they're just not in shape. It's like, this is a physical job.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuses for it.
Yeah,
right?
it'll be like a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, like, man, like you should be in your prime right now.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
And the physicals aren't always easy. Like it's go, 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 right?
Yeah. Most of the time they will tell you kind of what it entails, or you can guess what it entails.
Yeah.
So you can practice those things and train for those things at your local gym or.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure your cardio is up too. If you're someone who's like big into lifting weights, there is a cardio portion of the physical, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your cardio is up too and that you're not just at the gym crushing weights, right?
Yeah. A lot of departments have weighted vests on their physicals.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And a portion of that physical might be skill based, and there might be some hose handling,
Yep.
Tools handling. So again, freshen up on your skills, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
After that, if you're lucky enough to move on, you'll most likely go to ride-alongs. And now, do you want to tell the audience kind of what a ride-along actually is?
Yeah, so a lot of departments have this ride-along portion to their process now. Some departments don't, but majority of them do. And basically what's going to happen is you're going to go to the fire hall for one shift up to 4 shifts, depending on the department. And you're basically gonna be with a crew and you're gonna be responding to calls with them. You're gonna be at the hall, eating lunch with them, cleaning, all that kind of stuff. And this is your chance to really prove yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because the crews are gonna be watching you very closely, right? And if you start coming across as arrogant or cocky, or even, that you are you don't know your skills or whatever, right? Like, because they can put you through drills and stuff like that. So you really want to make sure that you're aware of what is going on during the ride-alongs.
Yeah, and you might be doing it with another candidate. So if they see you potentially being mean to that candidate or sewering them in any way, of not being a teammate or not having that team mentality, it's gonna go badly for you.
Yeah, exactly, right? You got to think of it, we talked about how it's such a competitive process, but once you've made it to this stage of the process, if you're with another candidate, like, you need to think of them as your team, and you guys got to help each other out.
So yeah, ride-alongs, like Adamo said, be on your top game. You could be at their fire hall for, up to 12 hours on a shift. Going to calls, you're probably not going to do anything on those calls, but I know some departments do throw you into a medical and you got to do some things.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. There are departments out there that you will go to medical calls and they will put you as like the responder.
Yeah, because technically you do have the certs and you did sign a waiver.
Yeah.
And you are qualified to do those things. So yeah, the fire service will put you on the spot a lot of times.
Yeah, I actually know a guy who did a ride along with a local department, and they had a cardiac arrest, and they're like, "Do you feel comfortable doing CPR?" And he's like, "Yeah." They're like, "All right, get in there."
Yeah.
So just be prepared, right? Like with some departments, you might be thrown into it like right away.
Oh wow, okay. I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with that story. I thought you were just gonna say like the guy killed him.
No. I don't know the outcome.
Yeah. That's interesting. And yeah, like Adamo said, you'll be put on the spot, which is
something to be aware of. That's all, right? Like,
yeah.
Know what's expected of you during that ride along, and most departments are gonna kind of give you a little bit of a briefing beforehand as to what they expect you to be involved in and not be involved in during the ride along process.
Yeah, that's huge. Like crew expectations, usually they lay it out at the very beginning of the day.
Yeah.
No one there is trying to fail you. They want to see you do well, but they have to see it. You have to show that you care.
I mean, they have certain expectations and standards, and if you don't meet that, then they're not going to want to give you the okay, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you're lucky enough to get through that process, you're most likely going to the chief's interview,
Yeah.
which is exactly what it sounds like. It's usually a one-on-one with the chief. You might have a union rep in there. Some departments, it's still part of the process. You can get cut there.
Yep.
Some departments, it's just a formality. You're just shaking hands and you're basically getting the job.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Boris said, like departments do it differently, right? So you could get cut at the chief's interview if the chief decides that they don't think you're a good fit for their department, right? So
And their questions are a lot different than a panel interview. They potentially don't have to stick to the same questions as the panel interview does for every applicant. They are a lot more free to veer off and ask their own.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they kind of march to the beat of their own drum.
Yeah. So you have to be ready for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once you're done with the chief's interview, you would most likely at this point go to your medical, sign that job offer, get the medical done, get sized up for gear,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the medical a little bit?
Yeah. So for the medical, you're most likely going to go to somewhere that's like off-site, essentially. That's not actually part of the department. It's just a company that has doctors that run you through this medical, right? And they're going to do blood work. They're going to do cardiac screening, lung test, colorblind tests they do.
Yep.
So just be aware, like if you have any medical conditions that could potentially stop you from being hired as a firefighter, you need to know that, right? So I would recommend like go to your doctor and do a full medical checkup beforehand to make sure that you're good to go.
Yeah, that's a good one actually.
Yeah.
You don't want to put all that time and effort into a process that at the very end they're like, you can't join us.
Yeah, and there's certain things that are just that they just won't hire you, right? Like I think diabetes is one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
There are some departments I think where they will hire, but absolutely, like they all have their thresholds.
Yeah.
There's an NFPA standard for medical tests, but yeah, if they don't want to take on that liability, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, and if you want to know what that list is for the NFPA standards, just send us an email and we can try and find that and get that to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you guys are aware, medical tests are protected. So any fire department you're applying to, they don't actually get to see any of those results.
That's right. Yeah.
They basically, like Adamo said, send you out to a third party. They'll do the medical test and then they tell the department yes or no.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good in that way, obviously protecting your privacy. Also, you will be on the hook for the payment for that medical as well.
Yeah.
So just be ready for that. Some medicals are up to, $500, $600 these days. So if you are lucky enough to get the job, you're not getting paid first, you're paying first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the application process. At that point, it's kind of show up here on Monday type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You'll probably get the job offer after that. And then and then the real work starts.
Yeah. Fun begins.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the application process. If you have any questions for us, we'd love to answer them on this podcast. Send them our way, info@firefighterglobal.com.
And if you want to check us out on social media, we are at Firefighters Global. Give us a follow.
Yeah.
I should actually mention about that. We actually post job updates on there too.
That's
Canada-wide.
Yeah.
So any Canadian fire department that's hiring, we post that on our social media as well.
Yeah. Great point.
Yeah.
So
right on.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And our next episode, I believe we're going to be going over some Q&A stuff.
Yeah. We were lucky enough to get a bunch of questions already. 2 episodes in, or 1 episode in actually. So yeah, fun. That's going to be
there's some good questions in there too that are going to it's going to be good.
Yeah. Tune in.
All right, guys.
Smoke. Bye-bye.